Hey, what is going on, guys? TheKnowee here, and in today's video we are going to be continuing on with our Brick Breaker clone. In last video, if you guys remember, we got our ball moving up and down at a certain speed of 20, so no matter what, it's going to be moving at 20, but that's really all we're going to do. In today's video, we're actually going to be able to make our dude move. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it at least once. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go to our player, and we need to add a rigid body, because, well, we're going to use physics. Also, what we're going to do is we're going to take away the fact that it's going to use gravity. We're going to have him set to interpolate, and then before we do anything, we need to freeze its position on the Z and the Y axis so that it doesn't move out of the scene. So, like, here, let's rotate it. So we don't want it to move. Where's my pen? We don't want it to go this way, and we don't want it to move up, right? So we're gonna freeze those so it doesn't go nowhere. Oh, I need to probably turn off my pen. That would no, I have the pen on still. There we go. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we don't want it to move anywhere. We just want it to move along the x-axis. We also want to freeze its rotation so that it just doesn't move. We don't want this to move other than where we want it to move, which is just left and right. Also, quickly head over to the ball, and we're going to freeze its position in the z-axis so that if, let's say, this happened to be rotated, the ball wouldn't just shoot off and out of where we want it to be, right? We want it to stay in our level. Alright, so now that we've taken care of that, so now that we've constrained the movement of our paddle and our ball, let's actually make a script. So in our scripts, we're going to create a new C# script, and we're going to name it player. So first things first, we need to get access to our rigid body. So we're going to do rigid body. Alright, and then we need to get the rigid body. So rigid body is equal to get component rigid body, parentheses, and a semicolon at the end. We're gonna, since we're working with physics, we need to make this into a fixed update. So go ahead and do that. Alright, now that we have gotten our fixed update set, and now that we have our rigid body, it's time to start making our paddle move. So, first things first, we need to do rigid body dot move position. What is move position? Well, move position basically says I want it to move based on the physics, right? So it's going to move only with physics, and we're going to have the mouse control those physics. So just stick with me and I will explain. So we need a new vector 3. Okay, and then you're going to do, there's going to be a lot of parentheses, so make sure you stick with me here, okay? I'll explain exactly how it works as soon as we're done coding it out, okay? So just stick with me, and we got this. So we're going to do a new vector 3. We're going to do camera dot main, okay? And then we need to do screen to world point. This lets us access the mouse, but not quite yet. We need to get another new vector 3, and this is going to be our mouse. So input dot mouse position, okay, and then we need it on the x-axis, so dot x. We don't want it to move on the y-axis, so 0. And then how far away is our camera from us? It's 40 units. That's where we put it. Then press your right arrow twice to go in between two of our curly braces. Now we want it to move along the x-axis still. This is the second vector 3 that we're making now. We need to set where the paddle is located. So my paddle is located at -20, okay? And then comma 0 because we don't want it to move along the z-axis, okay? And before I get really into explaining how this works, this number, this -20, is specifically built off of where your paddle is located in the world. So mine is at y -20. So just wherever your paddle is, that will be your number that you use, okay? So make sure when you do it, set it to the number that is up here for you, okay? Maybe yours isn't -20. I don't know if you copied mine to a T. If you didn't, that's fine. Just make sure you enter in the number that's up here in your position Y, okay? Or else it'll be a little wonky and you don't want that. All right. Now it's time for me to explain what the heck is happening here. So we're accessing our rigid body and we're telling it to move position on where the camera is, and then wherever in our mouse, wherever our mouse is within the camera, within 40 units of it being backwards, right? We're gonna move that little paddle of ours. But we're only moving it along the x-axis at -20, and we're not going any higher than that, okay? So what it's saying is we're moving within the cameras, what the camera sees, right? So we're moving where the camera sees, and we're moving along with the mouse, so that's what the screen to world point does, right? So it transforms a point from screen to space into world space, where space is defined as a coordinate system at the very top of your game's hierarchy. So this is saying, all right, so what coordinate is your mouse located at? That's what this is for, the new vector 3. You're inputting your mouse position. All right, well, we're going to be moving along the x-axis, but not anything along the y-axis. And then we're not going to be going anywhere past this 40. Basically, we're not going to be going beyond the constraints of 40. And then right after that, we're saying it also is, so since it's going to be scooching along that, right, we don't want it to move anywhere above -20. And we don't want it to go into the Z. So all that code is saying is when we press play, this little piece will not move into your Z axis, so it won't go that way, and it won't go up, right? That's all that code is saying, is if we're going to be able to move it. So watch, so let's click play. I didn't click play, there we go. Go ahead and click play. And now I can move it. It cannot go up and down. It can only go left to right. It does not move when our ball hits it, so boink, will not move. It is rock solid. One more time, boop. I can still move it, but it will not go beyond what the camera can see. So depending on wherever our camera sees, that's where we can move our mouse. Eventually what I'm going to do is we're going to set the definition of where our walls are. So from here to, let me just bounce it one more time, to here. So you can't just willy-nilly move it around. And we will get to that later, but right now we're just trying to get it to move, which we did. So that's pretty epic. So I'm going to quickly save. But our game is still a little bland. We want something to actually break. This is a brick breaker. So quickly, I'm going to, also, if you guys didn't notice, I renamed level to walls because that's literally what we're making. And we're going to make another empty, and we're going to name it level. If only I pressed F2, level. Levele. Apparently I named it levele. Levele level. Level, there we go. Okay, and then in level, we're gonna make a 3D object. We're gonna make it a cube. I'm gonna quickly rename this to brick. And it's in some ugly position, so reset it so that it's in the middle. I'm gonna scooch it up real quick, so press W. And scooch it just a little bit, like right up to 14, that's fine. I just want it up a little bit, okay? And then we're gonna scale it up a little bit, let's make it 2. Yeah, that seems like a fair brick in our game. I might size it up a little bit, maybe, what about 3? What does 3 look like? That looks a little big, so let's do 2.5. You guys can make it whatever, I'm gonna make it 2, okay? So my brick is going to be 2, and then we're going to shrink it a little bit, 0.5. There we go. So it could still hit it, right? So if I press play, our ball is still going to hit the brick. That's all I want. Oh, and I missed the ball. Okay. So now we're going to make some more bricks. But before we make some more bricks, in our prefabs folder, we want to drag our brick into there because we want it to be a prefab, right? We want to be able to edit this brick. And since there's going to be a lot of bricks, right, we're going to be putting bricks everywhere, right? As a brick breaker, there's going to be probably maybe a few, like maybe 150, like there's going to be a lot of bricks. And if you don't have them as a prefab, you're going to be wasting a lot of your time trying to edit every single one. So we want to set this as a prefab as the standard and then go from there, okay? So now with our brick prefab, we can control D. They're just big enough to be touching. We don't want it to like look like that. So quickly go into your prefab. I'm going to make mine 1.9 to 0.9. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to create this gap. So instead of them just touching it, like, it looks a little bit more visibly pleasing to me. Also, if you have autosave clicked, you'll be okay. Go ahead and exit out. There you go. I'm going to make one more brick. There we go. So I moved it 2 out. Whenever you make a new brick, remember the size of it. So I'm making mine 2. I made it 2, so you move it 2 along the x-axis, right? But I still can't break these bricks, right? They're just going to be solid objects that I just can't break, but I can collide with. So now it's time to make a brick script. So quickly head down here to create a C# script. We're going to name it brick. Apparently it's going to open a player for whatever reason. Thanks, game. I definitely wanted that script open. Alright, anyways, clear this out. Thank you, Unity. There we go. Okay. So now we are in brick. Alright, so but before we start editing this script, we want to go to our prefab and then apply this brick script, okay? So now all of our bricks will have this script. Brick has brick script, this brick has the brick script, and I can click it, this brick has the brick script. And the reason I applied it to the prefab is because if I only applied it to this one, it won't apply it to the other ones. If you guys remember from our tutorial, if you have one thing and you apply it, it does not apply it to everything else that's in the scene. You have to have it as a prefab and then apply it to the prefab if you want it to apply to everything that is that thing, right? Because the prefab is the storage of that item, right? So this item now is stored with this brick script. So every time I duplicate one of these bricks, it will have everything that this prefab has, and it remembers it perfectly. Alright, so now we can head back to our script and actually start making it work. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to actually define some variables. So we're going to make some public integers here. So public int, and we're going to name this one hits. Okay, we're going to initialize that at 1. So what I'm doing is I'm setting how many hits it's going to take to break our brick. And then for later, I'm going to make another public integer. I'm going to name this one points. And then I'm going to initialize this one at, oh, I'm apparently not, 100. I'm initializing this at 100. So now if we head back to Unity and we take a look at our bricks, down here at the brick script, excuse me. If we take a look down here at the brick script, we have hits and we have points, and you can edit this. So if you want a specific brick to have a certain amount of hits, it will have that many hits, or if you wanted to award you more points, you can edit it and it will give you a certain amount of points. Make sense? I hope so. Alright, so now that we've defined these, we actually need to make it so that our bricks get destroyed whenever we have a collision. So we don't always want to have to come back to the code, right? Oh no, I did that way wrong. So now that we've made our public variables, we want to actually make it so that when we collide with our bricks, they get destroyed. So let's do that. So we're going to make an on collision enter at the very bottom here. So on collision enter. Okay. Now the first thing we need to do is set hits. Whenever we have a hit, we need to have it -1. So when the ball hits the brick, its hits goes down by 1. And then we're going to say if our hits are less than or equal to 0, we want to destroy the game object. And then I'm going to quickly put in a little note to self in here. So / score points. So we want to take away a hit. Then we want to score the points for hitting the object, right? Or destroying the object, right? Because if you do enough hits, it'll score points. We're going to have it if hits are set less than or equal to 0, then you'll score. And then after you score the points, then it's going to say also if the hits are equal to 0, less than or equal to 0, you're going to destroy the brick. So let's see how that works. Let's try it out. Boink. Boom! Take a look at that. That is pretty awesome. And our brick breaks whenever we hit it. Quickly save that up. But I want to do one more thing before we end off this video. I don't know why it was scaling. That was weird. Okay? And that is whenever we're playing our game, I want our mouse to just go ahead and disappear whenever we're playing the game. Okay? Because I don't want to see the mouse at all times. Cursor dot, apparently I'm locking it, is visible, and we're going to set that equal to false. So whenever we start the game, our cursor is going to become invisible. 3, 2, 1, boom, and now it's just control, control, control. Boink. And then whenever we pause the game or get out of where the game window is, our mouse will reappear. So that's pretty cool. So now we have a working paddle I can control. Whee! We have a working ball, and we have working bricks that break. That's pretty cool. But before we end this video, I'm going to do one more thing. And in our materials, this is, you guys can go ahead and do some level design. So go ahead and create yourself a material. Oh, apparently I needed, what is happening? Oh, I created a camera. There we go. Go ahead and create a material. And I'm going to name it brick. And then let's make it, I don't know, what color you guys think? Teal? Let's make it teal. Or like a, yeah, or like a cyan. That's perfect. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it an emission of the same color. Just a little bit darker. What about darker? I like that more. Okay. And then we're going to apply this. Make sure you guys go to the prefab. Right? Open up the prefab. And then apply your brick color. So now all of my bricks are this nice cyan blue. And they're not like a shaded blue. So quickly, if I want to demonstrate, if I take off the emission, the coloration of our bricks is completely different, right? They look different than if I have our emission on. See how they got brighter? They have this nice bright look to them. We're going for, and since our background's black, we want these to be a little bit brighter so they're easier for the player to see, right? They're more visibly appealing to me, in my opinion, to be like this nice bright cyan blue than dark cyan blue. It doesn't have that same effect, right? Especially for the game we're going for. So go ahead and do some level design as much as you want. Add some more bricks. Do whatever you would like. But in the next video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually making it so that our scoring system works. We'll be doing some more level design, and there was more to be done for our game. There's lots and lots to be done. We're going to be making a level system, in-game UI, and more. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you guys are intrigued to make this game super cool. But for now, you have a working game, and eventually what we're going to do is we're going to have our paddle change up a little bit so that the ball can actually go everywhere, so it's not stuck going up laterally, so it's not, so we can actually have a game. We want it to be fun. So if you guys are excited as I am, make sure you guys tune in to the next video, and as always, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.